A global superstar stood on stage in front of tens of thousands, but the real story happened behind closed gates. Michael Jackson didn't just build fame, he built a world. Neverland wasn't just a home, it was an escape, designed to feel separate from reality. For fans, he wasn't just an artist, he was something bigger, untouchable. His influence reshaped pop culture, but it also blurred boundaries between admiration and devotion. Allegations surfaced over the years, each one shaking that image. Yet the connection many felt didn't disappear. Because once someone becomes more than human in the eyes of millions, perception becomes harder to break than truth. A microphone was taken on stage, and in that moment, everything shifted. Kanye West didn't just create music, he created reactions. Every statement, every appearance, every interruption pushed him further into something beyond artist. Fans didn't just listen, they defended, they followed. He built identity around his persona, turning unpredictability into influence. And once attention becomes the product, controversy stops being a risk, it becomes the engine. The line between performance and reality blurred, and millions stayed locked in, watching what he would do next. He changed his name to a symbol no one could pronounce. Prince didn't just fight the industry, he rejected it. Contracts, labels, ownership, he turned all of it into a public battle. Fans didn't just admire him, they saw him as something beyond control. His image became rebellion itself, and that's where the shift happened. Because once an artist positions themselves against the system, loyalty becomes personal, not about music anymore, but about belief. And belief is harder to challenge than any contract. Every era, a new identity. Madonna didn't follow trends, she replaced them. Religion, sexuality, power, she pushed boundaries deliberately. And every time backlash came, it made her stronger. Albums sold in the tens of millions, tours generating hundreds of millions in revenue. Fans didn't just support her, they aligned with her. She turned controversy into loyalty, forcing people to choose sides. And once an artist makes you choose, you stop being neutral, you become part of it. Every reinvention pulled audiences deeper, making her influence harder to separate from culture itself. The lights go out, silence, then a single moment, and the entire stadium moves as one. Beyoncé didn't just build a fan base, she built a system. Stadium tours grossing over $1 billion, precision, control, timing. Every performance feels engineered down to the second, every message intentional. Fans don't just watch, they anticipate, they analyze, they defend. Online communities mobilize within minutes. And that's the shift. Because when an audience becomes organized around an artist, it stops being passive, it becomes structured, coordinated, and extremely powerful. Outfits no one could ignore, performances that felt more like statements than shows. Lady Gaga didn't aim to fit in, she aimed to disrupt, and disruption creates identity. Millions of fans identified as little monsters, forming a global community. Her tours filled arenas worldwide, her visuals dominating headlines. Her fans didn't just follow her music, they saw themselves in it. A movement built around difference, around standing apart. And once identity becomes tied to an artist, leaving that connection isn't simple anymore, it becomes personal. A teenager uploads videos online, and within months, millions are watching. Justin Bieber didn't grow into fame, he was thrown into it. His early fan base generated billions of views, overwhelming platforms. Fans followed every step, every mistake, every change. Crowds formed instantly wherever he appeared. The connection felt direct, personal, and that's what made it powerful. Because when fans feel like they've grown with someone, loyalty becomes emotional, not logical, and emotional loyalty doesn't fade easily. Flashing cameras, constant movement, no pause. Britney Spears lived inside a system that never stopped watching. Paparazzi followed every step, capturing thousands of images per week at her peak. Fame at that level doesn't slow down, it accelerates. Every decision becomes public, every moment analyzed. And over time, control shifts, not always visibly, but enough that people begin to notice. And once that happens, the story changes, from idol to symbol. And symbols are harder to control than individuals. Every lyric becomes a message. Every release becomes an event. Taylor Swift didn't just build music, she built narrative. Albums breaking streaming records within hours. Fans decoding clues across social media, connecting details in real time. Entire communities analyzing patterns, searching for meaning, and that turns every action into something larger. Because when millions of people are looking for signals, they begin to see them everywhere. And once meaning is crowdsourced, influence expands beyond intention. Dark imagery, heavy symbolism, immediate reaction. Marilyn Manson didn't avoid controversy. He built around it. Albums selling millions while triggering public debates and media panic. Protests formed outside venues. Attention intensified. And attention turned into influence. Because once an artist becomes a symbol of something larger, whether real or projected, they stop being just an individual. They become an idea. And ideas spread faster than facts. Characters replaced identity. David Bowie didn't just perform music, he performed personas. Ziggy Stardust, the Thin White Duke, each one distinct, each one controlled. Millions followed every transformation, albums topping charts worldwide. Fans didn't just follow songs, they followed evolution. And that created something unique, because when identity itself becomes fluid, connection shifts from the person to the concept. And concepts don't fade, they adapt. Crowds screamed before he even sang a note. Elvis didn't just perform, he triggered reaction. Concerts drew tens of thousands, overwhelming venues, fans fainted. Security struggled to contain movement. The energy was immediate, physical, uncontrolled, and that's where it changed. Because when reaction becomes instinct, control moves from the stage into the crowd, and once a crowd reaches that level, it becomes unpredictable. A quiet voice reached hundreds of millions. Billie Eilish built connection differently. Minimal production, intimate delivery, yet billions of streams worldwide. Her audience didn't just hear the music, they felt understood by it. Lyrics shared across social platforms, connecting millions instantly, and that created something deeper. Because when fans see themselves reflected in an artist, distance disappears. And once that distance is gone, influence becomes personal. Dark visuals, controlled atmosphere. Every project feels like part of a larger system. The Weeknd doesn't just release music, he builds worlds. Albums generating billions of streams, visuals dominating global charts. His aesthetic repeats across performances, videos, and branding. Fans don't just listen, they enter that world. And once immersion becomes part of the experience, separation fades. Because when art becomes environment, influence surrounds you. The crowd moves before the beat drops. Energy builds fast, too fast. Travis Scott created performances that feel less like concerts and more like mass events. Festivals drawing tens of thousands with energy escalating rapidly. The connection between artist and audience becomes immediate, intense, physical. And that intensity pulls people in, but it also removes distance. Because when energy reaches that level, control becomes harder to maintain. And once control slips, everything changes in seconds. Different artists, different styles, same pattern. It always starts the same. Music, attention, connection. But at some point, it stops being just about the music. It becomes identity. People don't just listen anymore. They align, they defend, they follow. And most of the time, they don't even notice when that shift happens. Because it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. That's what makes it powerful. Real influence doesn't demand loyalty. It creates it, slowly, quietly, until questioning it feels wrong. And once you reach that point, you're no longer just a fan. You're part of something you didn't even realize you joined.